a presentation on my design thinking. In this presentation, I will be taking you through the research I conducted, as well as my initial ideas, my experimentation and development, before finally displaying my final outcomes. To get an understanding for the brief requirements, I researched Purina to find out what drives their brand. Purina are a dedicated company who prioritise the welfare of pets. I also found out that Purina want to make all their packaging recyclable. This fact influenced and inspired my packaging ideas, as we will see later in the presentation. Here are some examples of Purina's competitors, all of them being nutritionalists at heart. By researching competitors, I found out the importance of a logo, as they all communicate nutrition but all vary in different styles. Here, I gathered 4 different Purina sub-brand products to compare the visual hierarchy within the designs. It is clear that bakers have a bold and bright, friendly approach to their designs, whereas Pro Plan have a luxury feel due to the dark colours and typeface used. Let me introduce you to dog lover Dana. She is a welfare coach who likes to do yoga and go on dog walks with her family in her spare time. Dana's main values are animal rights and the quality of food. This has given me an overview of the type of person I will be appealing to. In any project, inspiration is an important step in the design process. This first image, here, was a big inspiration for my design, as I liked the minimalistic look and the use of bold colours. It made it stand out for me compared to the other examples here. Here I am starting to get an idea for the packaging materials. From this research, I feel the use of paper and cardboard would suit this project best, as it is widely recyclable and is a cheap alternative material. I have gone with the die-cut finishing technique, as this is a common technique used on food packaging. It also wouldn't communicate the product as being luxury, whereas the use of embossing might create a luxury feel. I'm now starting to brainstorm brand names, starting out by looking at words associated with nutrition, dietary, gourmet and dog. These influenced my brand names, and I created names such as Pro Pet, Pro Pooch, Man's Best Friend and Number 9. I have then created a visual brainstorm of initial logo ideas. The Poodle logo was the most successfully thought out. Even in its rough phase, it communicated a gourmet and quality food message. Here are my initial promotional material ideas. I kept the theme of the poodle running through these, similar to my poodle logo on the previous slide. Here are some packaging concepts. I started to think about reusability, given the packaging a secondary use. The most innovative idea that I felt would be appealing to the target demographic was the idea of using seeded paper that can be planted after initial use to grow vegetables. This helps to promote the idea of organic and nutritious food. To finish the ideation process, I looked at creating colour schemes and explored handwritten typefaces. I chose handwritten fonts because they make a brand more personal to customers, making the brand more approachable. So in the experimentation phase of the design process, I took historical art movements to base poster designs off of. Here are some experiments inspired by the Swiss style. And here are designs inspired by the Bauhaus movement. And finally, here are some designs inspired by minimalism. So these minimalistic designs are the most successful creations in my experimentation, and I took this as a sign to use minimalism for the overall design style. So here I am starting to gather some images to form a final concept board. We can see some images representing gourmet and nutrition, as well as recyclability, minimalism, the die cut technique, as well as an illustrative design style. So this is the digitalization of my logo design in the introduction of colour. I started to think of innovative ways of using these colours and came up with the idea of using them to distinguish the flavours from one another. Here I've started to add typography to the logo, experimenting with the integration of these elements. I created various arrangements and narrowed the final logo down to 3, one of which being this one here, and the other one here, and then the final one is this top one here. So then I started to digitalise the packaging concepts and again started adding colour. I have also included an alternative colourway by using the brown paper bag as the base for the design rather than a coloured paper. I think this design works well in communicating that it is environmentally friendly. However, when it's seen on a shelf with other brands, I feel this brown colour wouldn't make it stand out from its competitors. Here I have taken my 3 logo designs that I showed you on the previous slide and placed them onto 2D versions of my packaging design to get a feel for which logo works best. This most right design, it's the most visually effective because of the horizontal orientation of the logo. It gives it more negative space. So I'm looking again at the use of colourways and how these colours can be used to represent different flavours. At first I thought changing the colour of the logo on each product was a risk to the brand's consistency, but I'm happy with how the logo still communicates the brand identity even in these different colourways. Finally, I've looked at visual hierarchy on the packaging and have resulted to having a large logo with the flavour underneath and the icons communicating the key benefits at the bottom. This layout helped with negative space but also read in an appropriate way from top to bottom. Here is the development of the mail order. I was happy with the development, however the design needed more negative space and visual contrast. This information catalogue was the same, I was happy with it, and the half-fold brochure worked well for a catalogue. However, it needed more negative space and visual contrast again. My poster development, on the other hand, was a success. The design is minimalistic, but it communicates a friendly and professional message, which is what I wanted the brand identity to do. I think this was due to the imagery I chose, as well as the hierarchy on the typography. And here are my final outcomes. So this is a product for treats, targeted towards any dog. We can see the front and back of the packaging. Here is the product aimed to adult dogs. Again, the front and back of the packaging. And finally, the third product in the product range is for puppies. I distinguished these products with the use of a different handle, but everything else is more or less the same. The layout on the front is the same, the layout on the back is the same. The consistency in the flavours and the colours are also the same. I also explored the packaging for the inside of the product. These cardboard boxes is what the content would come in. I thought it would be an easy and convenient way of feeding your dog as well, as the box could act as a bowl for feeding on the go. And here is my final mail order. As you can see, I've kept most of the brochure white. I've looked at minimalising some of the images and text, which allowed for more negative space. Again, my information catalogue, I minimalised the design, keeping the background nice and clean and giving more negative space. And finally, my poster for print in a magazine and for online. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.